Why do most coaches fail, and what separates those who thrive? In this video, you'll discover the hidden mistakes that cause 83% of coaches to fail and the specific strategies that can help you succeed. So let's dive right in. Mistake number one is avoiding their fears. Avoiding your fears, your doubts, your limiting beliefs is the fastest path to not being successful as a coach. And this is not uncommon because coaching businesses can be some of the most vulnerable and challenging businesses to grow, not because of the business model or because it's a service over a product, but it's because we are the face of it. So our fear of failure, our fear of judgment, our fear of rejection is ignited when we're promoting ourselves. And that's what you are going to be doing when you decide to grow a coaching business. So avoiding these fears, running away from them, only makes it harder. In fact, it slows you down. It doesn't just slow you down, it stops you from making the impact and the income you desire. I often say that fear is the only thing that gets smaller the more you run towards it. If you run away from your fears, guess what? It's going to get louder and bigger and more intense. If you face your fears head on, and detach yourself from looking perfect, detach yourself from succeeding or getting the result, then you'll find that you take more bold action and you get better results. So that's mistake number one. That is the core reason. I've been coaching coaches for over 10 years now. That's the biggest one that I see. The second reason why coaches fail is expecting overnight success or expecting overnight results. It does take time to build a business. Now, I'm a big fan of people like Benjamin Hardy who talk about thinking bigger and 10x thinking and having a vision that's so unrealistic or unattainable that you have to operate at a different level. Your entire identity changes. I agree with those things. I think that way. And if you have this belief or expectation that you're going to be a 7-figure empire in the next 12 days and you don't hit that goal, and you're attached to that goal, and guess what? You're probably going to quit. And this is what I see happen for so many coaches out there is we fall into the trap of watching the YouTubers, we watch the TikTokers, all these people that are claiming overnight success or results without effort. When in fact, it's going to take time and it's going to take effort, it's going to take courage, all those things to build a successful coaching business. So expecting overnight results and then giving up because of it is the second biggest mistake coaches make that cause them to fail. The third is not being consistent. And when I say consistent, I don't mean like once a month. I don't mean once a week. I mean every single day. You've got to show up, communicate your message, produce content, step outside of your comfort zone, do the work every single day. And many times when I see a new coach, they get excited and get committed for a week or even a month or even a few months. But when you get to that 3 to 4 month mark, then you start to get bored or distracted, or you don't want to keep doing the work. And when that happens, that's a decision point. That is a line in the sand that separates the successful coaches from the ones that are struggling. So know that if you get faced with that decision to make, whether you're going to stay consistent in producing content and sharing your message or not, sure, you can think to yourself, you may just take a day off or take a week off or take a month off, or let's say a week. I think a month is a little much, but you're going to find that it's going to be harder to get back into action. And so consistency is so critical. Now, there's ways to leverage and scale your consistency by staying consistent and eventually using software and systems and ads to show up more consistently where you're not up there you're not that social media hamster on the hamster wheel every day. But consistency is really important. So before you decide to choose this path of building a coaching business, you've got to first decide and ask yourself, am I going to stay consistent? The fourth mistake that I see coaches make is being slow to take action. One of the philosophies of our coaching program, Fearless Coach Academy, is being quick to implement. And what I mean by that is the moment you learn something, you apply it immediately. Even if you're not a master of it yet, even if you don't know if it's going to succeed, even if it's not perfect, you take action anyway. And those that struggle inside of our program or outside are the ones that drag their feet when it comes to taking action. It's the ones that are indecisive, that are afraid to make a commitment and take an action and take a leap. So my invitation for you is to just default to action. Condition your mind, your body, your heart, your soul to someone who is decisive and someone who takes action no matter what. And I know this is easier for some people with their personality than others. I know that based on your career, it can be easier for some versus others. I know for me, when I worked in corporate, when I transitioned from corporate to coaching, it was hard. I was an employee. I had an employee mindset. So I was looking for permission from other people. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're the decision maker at the center of your own existence. So keep that in mind and know that there's no greater personal growth aside from maybe marriage or parenting than building a business and becoming an entrepreneur. The fifth mistake that causes coaches to fail is chasing tactics without building skills. It's so easy to fall into the YouTubers out there that are like, you got to do this one thing to trick the algorithm to get a bunch of views. Or TikTokers that are saying, do this one technique and you're going to blow up your organic TikTok following. But the reality is, if you learn that tactic and you don't have the skill to communicate, the skill to tell stories, the skill to influence and persuade, the tactic doesn't matter. You've got to develop the skills too. And the mistake I see so many coaches make is they go out there trying to collect tactics from different courses and different coaching programs without deciding and committing to building the skills of being a great coach, a great marketer, a great salesperson, a great leader, a great guide, all of those things. So on this journey, focus on learning the strategies, focus on picking up some of the tactics, but prioritize skills above all else. Now, the challenge with skills is those don't happen overnight. It takes time to build those. But if you're in it for the right reasons of who you're doing this for and why you're doing it, you're committed to it no matter what, you're willing to stand in the fire of rejection and slow growth, then you will develop those skills over time until it looks like it's effortless because you put in the work, and that's what creates the mastery. 2 more mistakes. The 6th mistake that coaches make that cause them to fail is worrying about what others think. Now, this was a big one for me. You see, I consider myself a recovering people pleaser, so I wanted people to like me. I'm working on right now with therapists and other coaches to shed some of that golden retriever energy that I have, to be more decisive, to be a better leader. But one of the things that held me back was worrying about what other people think. Do they like me? Do they agree with me? And I would play small. I would share a vanilla message. I would need my family's approval before building the business. And so I challenge you to recognize if that part of you is there and have compassion for that part of you. But as soon as you can, adopt the philosophy that there's nothing to hide and there's nothing to prove. When you have nothing to hide and nothing to prove, it doesn't matter what other people think because it doesn't affect you. And when you operate from that place, you become more successful than you could ever imagine. So really go back to and say, who are you worried about what they think? Is it your coworkers? Is it your family? Is it your friends? Oftentimes, some of the people that are closest to us are the least supportive of us because they don't want us to be happy. They want us to be safe. And so I encourage you to step outside of that comfort zone. If you've watched any of my videos, you may have heard the story of me going to a family reunion, feeling so excited that I was going to announce to my family that I had launched a coaching business and I was writing a book. And I'll never forget, I had this opportunity where I was sitting down with my grandmother and other family, and I announced to them at the dinner table that I was doing these things. And I'll never forget, there's a family member who looks me square in the eye and says, "Peter, if you decide to do this, we will disown you because you'll ruin the family name." And my heart in that moment sank. I remember running to the bathroom, it took every fiber of my being to not break down and cry because I lived my whole life for my family's approval. And in that moment, I had a choice to make. Do I let my family's disapproval stop me from building this vision that I have and this passion that I have? Or do I dig deeper and build it regardless of how they're going to think or feel? I chose the latter, and that's what I challenge you to do, is notice that it's okay if you still think about what other people think, but don't let that stop you from putting in the work and building this business. The 7th and final mistake that causes coaches to fail is not putting in the time and the effort. We live in this world of marketing today that says everything is effortless. It doesn't require anything. You can just raise your vibration and magically leads and clients will come in. But at the end of the day, you do need to put in the work. And there's ways to do it from an abundant place of energy, and there's ways to do it from a scarcity place. But you've got to decide in this moment, and my challenge for you is to decide, are you willing to put in that time and effort? Because if you're not, this is not a path I recommend going down. It's a path that you may start and you may decide to quit sooner than you expect. So who are you doing this for? Why is this so significant to you? What would your life look like if you decided to build a successful coaching business instead of being in the job that doesn't bring you meaning or fulfillment right now, right? Really get clear on that vision, because there will be challenges. There will be times when you hit a benchmark, where you hit a plateau and you want to quit or you want to give up. So that's the 7th mistake. So those are the 7 mistakes, the biggest reasons why I see the majority, 83% of coaches, fail when deciding to launch and build their coaching business. As always, if you got value from this video, please do subscribe to the channel. That helps the algorithm show this to more viewers. And if after watching this, you know that this is still the path for you, that you are ready to launch this coaching business, are you ready to build it and grow it even though you've already started, then once you've subscribed, I invite you to check out my free online course that teaches you step-by-step how to start a profitable coaching business and enroll your first paying client in the next 30 days. So click up here in the corner of the video, check out that online course, and I look forward to seeing you there.